We are not that far off from truly draconic anti-sodomy legislation in the United States, you know? The unprecedented power and authority of the modern-day U.S. surveillance state in a post-9/11, post-Patriot Act world will be turned against the homosexual. That's all of you. If you live in Texas and the AG decides to enforce this anti-sodomy law, any evidence the government can get their hands on indicating that you might have engaged in it might be prompting an investigation. Folks, all of you can be found out for it. If you think the government doesn't have the ability to prompt an investigation based on the, no doubt, overwhelming deluge of evidence that you all have left online that you participate in homosexual activity, you're fooling yourself. They will. A Class C misdemeanor for who you sleep with in your bedroom. Wonderful stuff. This is serious stuff, folks. I mean, we're talking about the US of A and genuine life ruination stuff over just being gay. Would anyone contest the belief that this is, without a shadow of a doubt, a genocide? I mean, making it illegal to be of a given group is about as clear-cut as doing a genocide as you can get. I mean, yeah, it doesn't begin at the death camps, right? You know? The death camps tend to follow the illegalizing your existence. You know, there's usually kind of a lead-up. Our criteria for determining genocide don't begin after it's over with, you know? Ideally, you want to identify a genocide before the victims of the genocide are contained entirely within mass graves and ash pits. You know, you want to be on it a little bit faster than that, if at all possible. There is something about this that makes me wonder if the Republicans are overextending their reach a little bit. Obviously, a good number of Republicans just flat out want you dead. You know, they would laugh as you're tortured to death. You know, it would be delightful entertainment to them. They would revel in it with the voyeuristic glee of a French peasant sprinting to the front of the crowd so they could watch the next beheading. But there are a lot of Republicans who aren't like that, you know. There are Republicans who are just fucking retarded, and just somehow, despite what they support and what they say, aren't just explicitly genocidal. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I don't know why they're like that. You know, I'm not sure how exactly they can parse out that raging inconsistency, but there are people like that. I don't know why you don't think this won't result in complete civil unrest and rioting. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. When have I ever said we're not going to get complete civil unrest and rioting? I am, in fact, the premier predictor of civil unrest and rioting. You know, I divine its likelihood to be quite high. They literally think we're Satan. That is true. Also, it's worth noting that the sodomy laws have really always been a deliberately vague tool to use against the socially undesirable. People have been sucking dick for thousands of years, okay? It is not as though, like, someone in pre-colonial America let it slip that they, like, received head from a woman and, like, they both got their heads chopped off the next day. There are people on Twitter that are, like, snidely saying that they're going to outlaw blowjobs, but that's really not what's going to happen. The anti-sodomy legislation has always been used as a way of gesturing at some types of behavior to punish deviancy and homosexuality. And to that end, like, it's not really outlawing oral sex. I mean, maybe you'll get an edge case or two, but you know, it's really meant to go after gay people. Though back in the days of pre-colonial America, there are probably a few more things that they would get you for. Anyway, look, they want you dead. They want to kill you. They want you dead. They want you in a death camp. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. What I'm saying right now is not exceptional. All right? The idea that being a homosexual could land you years in prison as a felony was ubiquitous nationwide in the 1960s. Basically, everyone in government was alive back then. In the 1980s, when gay people were dying en masse, as a product of AIDS, and Reagan ordered the CDC to not investigate ways of treating AIDS because he thought that gay people dying of AIDS was God's punishment towards them, the Supreme Court reaffirmed the legality and constitutionality of anti-sodomy laws. The fact that they want you dead is not new. It's not some crazy breaking through new extra special modern development. They have just been biding their time. It is that simple. I don't think that should be surprising to any of the people who watch this channel, because if you're at all familiar with leftist history in the United States, what do leftists do but bide their time? It's not as though all of the anti-capitalist sentiment that followed Bernie Sanders in 2016 sprung up out of nowhere. It just catalyzed around a new charismatic figure, Bernie Sanders, as a presidential candidate. And while we want workers' rights and healthcare for all and liberation for the working class, so too do the fascists want something, you dead. And so too do they bide their time and wait for charismatic figures around which to catalyze their political beliefs. It's as simple as that. It's a very basic political strategy. We all engage in it, just for different reasons. I would like to think that our reasons are a little bit better and more humanitarian. Remember the Borat clip where he gets the guy to say he wants to be able to get gay people hanged in the United States? It is really not that uncommon of a position. Religion is the enemy of humanity. I'm sorry. I can't pretend to be... I've only been a level 3 anti-theist on stream. It's time for me to reveal my power level as a level 10 anti-theist. It is mentally crippling. I love and respect you if you suffer from this disability, but I cannot pretend that it is not detrimental. Do you think Jewish people are as bad as evangelical Christians? I think it's simplistic to think of it that way, but by definition, no. You're simplifying it. Evangelical Christians are the worst of the worst, whereas Jewish people are all Jewish people. So that's an incomparable set of categories. As a whole, though, the overall social harm done even by Orthodox Jews is a pithy fraction of what fundamentalist Christians have been able to do. Nothing really comes close. There's really no organization or group that even... Yeah, I don't think so. What about folks who are vague Christians / others who have otherwise normal views? Like I said, if you have this mental illness, I will respect you and love you, but we cannot pretend that it is not socially detrimental. Catholic or Protestant right now, which is more harmful? Protestant, by far. It is funny, though, because right now in America, we're seeing a resurgence of fake Catholicism. Not real Catholicism. Like, real Catholics tend to be pretty... I wouldn't say they're chill, but maybe comparable to, like, fundamentalist Protestants they are. The real crazy Catholics are the converts later in life, because they associate tradcath, like anti-Vatican II Catholicism, with like lay epic-based ultra-conservative Nazism, essentially. Yeah, like that sort of thing. The people who are like Catholic by lineage, you know, like they just fucking come up from Mexico or whatever, and they're Catholics. Tend to be pretty chill in my experience, but people who are 32 and then convert to Catholicism are, from what I have seen, tend to be either closet homosexuals or have very, very, very contentious attitudes towards women, and are not dealing with it well. Who's worse, Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses? I don't know. Ask knowing better. Knowing better would know better than me. Atheists will elect officials who are religious, but not the other way around. There are no atheist officials. Like, seriously, they're like basically none. There are very, very, very few openly atheist political candidates, you know. There are a-religious candidates. That is to say, there are people who don't really talk about religion, and you can look at them and go like, either they're atheist or functionally atheist in terms of their voting records. But in terms of like active proponents of atheism, not so common. Not so common.